you to Mr. Israel Díaz, who was proudly our student at education, and now he is lecturer and he's a teacher. He's going to be in charge of some part of the practical aspect of the topic, and the main aspect is going to be in charge of Professor Yonica.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm very happy to have you, all of you here this morning. The first thing I'm going to tell you is to report why we are organizing this course, right? More or less 2 years ago, we started attending seminars organized by the Embassy of North America. These courses were organized by Mr. David Fay, who is a representative officer of the Andean region, right? So he's organizing many courses, and you could see in the advertisement downstairs 7 different courses. As you know, my colleague Israel Díaz, he has been working in the USA for many years. He's been on a scholarship in UK, and he's got a master over there. And he belongs as the seniorist teachers, the staff of the ELD trainers a long time ago, trained by British Council. Now we are trained by the USA. In critical thinking, critical literacy, there is no one right answer. Yes, the more you think of the reading and maybe the fallacies we can find in the reading, or maybe the silences that is not there, because any author to write something that they have a purpose in mind, and our duty is to find out these fallacies, this truth, or what ideas you can take as yours, or what to reject because maybe they don't convince you, right? Okay, so let's start. And what are the characteristics of a person who doesn't read critically? I'd like you to talk to your partner next to you, some brief ideas about it. Yes, please, everybody start sharing the ideas. Yes, in twos here, twos, there, and there. We won't give you too much time, so you much better start thinking. What are the characteristics of a person who doesn't read critically? Any idea? Yes, please.
I think that a person who doesn't read critically, that person accepts everything which is in the reading.
In the reading,
yeah.
That's right. We say it's not the accumulation of words that matters. It's how the elements are introduced within the text. In linear sentence, when you write a sentence, it is subject, verb, and predicate, right? But if you move into the text, you can use other strategies.
It's nice to see some familiar faces here, some colleagues that I haven't seen for a long time. And for me especially, it is really a special opportunity, this opportunity I have, because like 20 years ago, I was a student in this faculty, which it was the Faculty of Education. And when I was a fresher, like in Spanish we say cachimbo, this classroom was my classroom, and it was my classroom for like the 5 years I studied here. So for me, it's like wonderful to be now here. And it's, yes, that's right. And it's also, by the way, it's very nice to see some of my teachers when I was a student, like Mr. Pajuelo. No, yeah, claps for him, please. And also Mr. Victor Reyes, he's over there. So there were 2 of my teachers when I was a student here. Most of our students and most of us today, we live in a really fast society, all right? we barely have time to sit and read. And probably most of us don't even read that much, we as teachers. And if we do, then we may read just like headlines or our Facebook page, or some text messages, probably, and that's the most that we read, okay? Or our updates in Facebook. And and why? Because we don't have the time. We are always rushing from one place to another place. We don't read critically because we haven't been taught to read critically. Okay? We haven't been taught. Johnny has given you the theory, and I'm going to try to give you some examples. Now, we as teachers know that before the students do any reading, we have to ask students some questions in order to motivate them to do the reading. Okay? And also, by we asking students questions, we have to be very careful about what questions we ask students. We need to also ask students critical questions, like that means questions that make them think. And believe it or not, some teachers still ask students what we call silly questions. There are two kinds of questions that we can ask our students. Smart questions, and the other ones are silly questions. Now, an example of a silly question is, you teacher, you ask the student, and you say, okay, look at the picture, each card has a number, and a silly question would be, okay, Pedro, please tell me, what's the color of card number 6? Okay, that would be a very silly question. Why is it a silly question? Because that question doesn't make a student think. Okay, so we need to think about what questions we ask our students, but the questions have to be the ones smart. And a smart question is a question that makes a student think. Now, what kind of question will make a student think, regardless of the level, because this is for beginners, okay? But even for beginners, we can ask smart questions. Can you think about a smart question to explore this picture before the reading?
What make do you think they are? What make do you think they are?
Okay, what make do you think they are? So, yes. Yes, okay, good.
Which of these cards do you think is faster than all of them?
That's right, which card is the fastest one, no? Yeah, so, yes.
For example, first the silly questions can come, but then the smart questions, as you say. And maybe one smart question could be, if the red car is fantastic, are you a fantastic person?
Okay. Yes, well, what we need to consider is that it depends on the teacher, but what I can tell you is it's better to take advantage of the smart questions because we need to know that we don't have much time when we are in our classes, okay? When John Lennon was murdered in New York, and that's it. No more information. So now, here is the time where you have the chance to make students think, and you can connect this text with the song. Okay? The song talks about peace, love and peace in the world. So, if you think about that, what can you say? I mean, answering to the question, why was he killed?
But I think he was killed by a person that was mentally insane. Maybe that the person that killed him was not involved in politics or something like that, that made him, kill him because of his ideas. I think he was obsessed with him.
Okay, so that's Mr. Pajuelo's position, and maybe we can have different points of view, and let's hear what Mr. Reyes can say.
Jesus Christ won different world. He never took a kill somebody. But his words and his bridges were so strong, were so dangerous for the power of the empire, of the Roman Empire, so they had to kill him. The same thing happened with John F. Kennedy, and it might happen the same with John F. And there was a political, ideological motivation.
We need to remember also that it was John Lennon who said, "We are more popular than Jesus Christ." No?
That's all.
Yes, he said that. He said that.
I'm an experienced teacher, that's all, also. And I asked the students about what they think about that. Most of the students in that group didn't like that content, because it was idealistic, they said. They didn't like. So that's why the teacher said, we have to be very careful with our opinion, with their opinion, so we have to know how to do it, how to lead the class.
It has to be an open discussion.
Yes, but it depends on the
It's good to share your opinions, but you have to make them on an equal level that they can, that they see that you're not God.
No.
My ideas are not absolute.
Sure.
Your ideas
Just one
are
more
just as
idea.
important as mine.
That's right.
Okay, thank you anyway. And as the last teacher said, you know, we can see that it's a very good point to talk about. It generates a lot of discussion, a lot of, it's very controversial, okay? It's very controversial.
That's the spark for
That's right. And at the end of the day, that's what we want from our students, to speak, to express their ideas, okay? Because it's a language class and that's what's more important. Yes, sir.
Well, he said that if we try to accomplish the goal of our class, we could pretend that we like the song. I think it's a good idea, because if we say at the beginning that we don't like it, we could dismotivate our students. We motivate them.
No, but we can say always, we have to say, well, personally, I don't like, but maybe you like. So let's talk. That's right.
But you're provoking, when you say you don't like something, you're
You are not
provoking
to
your
be
watch.
dishonest.
And you're allowing the students to be able to emphasize their reasons why they
Yes,
don't like
that's
it.
right.
That's
Okay.
no.
But you were saying something before that you were interrupted, sorry.
Afraid you can play the devil's advocate, maybe to generate more debate in the classroom.
Yeah.
It also depends on the
Yes.
level of our students.
Scholarship is what happened is the first response, the immediate response.
Yes.
Student, you say I like it or not, is why teacher.
Yes,
He's thinking critically.
that's right.
And that's what, at that moment you have to emphasize and say.
And why means
because of this,
go back to the text.
Yes, and now you, what do you think? So that's it.
Yes. Okay. I think we need to move on, Mr. Barbero.
Very short, very short. So, in my opinion, I think the teacher shouldn't express his feeling about that. I don't
Okay. So, anyway, we need to move on. I think it's very controversial, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that he created all these discussions. Yes.
It's a good point doing a class, because, you know, what you can see here with us is happening down here.
That's right.